slippery as heck.
It's actually a skating rink outside today.
She's a little bit of a slip and slide out there, eh? I hate driving this stuff. Well, Renee's gonna drive it.
Yeah, you gotta give it.
I always drive.
Give it a taste of it.
Well, you gotta drive because we're going to the city. In Melford's the city. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't be
yeah.
driving in cities. Ridiculous.
Welcome to Abraham's.
She can sing, she just doesn't.
Right.
You can, so don't lie.
Hello. Good. How are you guys doing? Good. Very good. One of the most popular and inconspicuous businesses in Nipawin. There's no sign outside your business. Like you
And
don't.
you know what? That's kind of the thing. Like we went this long without a sign that I think it would be bad luck to get a sign.
I mean, if you don't know what's here,
No Name's brand is no name. You know what I mean?
you just don't know what's here.
It's like the place without a sign. No.
We just left today. I said, we even like that old sign that was out there used to have a Petro-Canada thing on there because we used to be Petro-Canada a long time ago.
Right.
And anyways, I said, well, I could paint that up. We could put a sign up there, and then we never did do it.
No
It just
sign, no
kinda-
logo.
It just kind of stayed.
How's your morning so far?
Not
Cool.
bad.
For me. You got here early.
Did you?
I usually come before 7, and then she comes at 9. So I said I always get everything kind of ready to go in the morning, and then Mom and her get here at 9. She gets the kids off to school, and then they come.
What time does the store actually open?
8.
I get the sense that you guys complement each other well in your strengths, weaknesses, things like that.
Oh yeah.
No, she points out my weaknesses all the time.
Oh, she does. That's very
I've
helpful.
never had a compliment, but geez, can she point out the weaknesses?
Super helpful.
No, actually, we work really well together. As long as he listens.
As long as
No,
I do
I'm
all
kid-
the
I'm
work.
kidding, I'm
eh?
kidding.
As long as I do all the work, we work really well.
That's
together.
right.
You know what he's actually referring to? Okay. He thinks I'm a man and can lift 1,000 pounds. Back, I don't know how many years ago, we had a deep freeze go at the house. And we're like, what's that smell coming from? We couldn't figure out where the smell was coming from in the house at all.
Renee's like, I
Finally-
think you got dirty socks, or the
I
kid
don't know,
is
it
peed in the
stinks in this
basement.
house. Anyway, we found out, lo and behold, that the deep freeze was gone and it was disgusting. So we could not physically empty out this deep
Like,
freeze.
you'd open it, you'd just
You
put-
couldn't. So we had
Right.
to carry this deep. I'm like, don't you have some buddies you can call? Like, you know. He's like, no, we got it. I'm sure I was at the bottom of it too. And he's like, come on, what? I'm like,
Yeah.
Anyway, so he quite frequently expects me to do that kind of stuff. Here too.
Like if we're moving a cooler, she just doesn't want to just.
For some
She
reason,
doesn't
I
want to
can't
lift her
as fast
end.
as
I don't know
him.
what all that tough talking. So I always figure you got to be really strong, eh?
I'm all talk.
Oh, okay, so you're here like an hour or more early.
Early, yeah, and then I'll usually get like in the mornings. If I got like for Monday mornings, you got like 3 orders to put out, and then you got to get your water pails ready, and then brew your coffee, put out your ticket selections, put out your tickets, dip the gas, reconcile it, and so I said you got a bunch of stuff you're gonna get done.
You're in every day of the week.
He's here every day.
I worked but till this last year. Renee got me 4 days off. This last year we went for like family vacation, and then I had 2 days off, and I took her for her 40th birthday. But before that, I did 11 years straight with 1 day off a year.
1 day off a year.
Christmas, that's the only day we close. So I said I'd come every day. So I was like, oh.
He's slowly learning boundaries.
So what's on the agenda today?
Try and make some money.
What do you think the town needs to know? What do these people need to know?
That we appreciate them.
We always appreciate the support and people coming through the door. And it's nice to see people too. You get to see you make good friends at the store too all the time. So you'll always see like your regular customers, and you have good rapport with them and stuff. And they always have some neat things to tell you. And that's one thing about here is you always hear like tons of different stories, and you learn things from like past times, like when some of the old timers will come in and tell you stories on stuff. And so it's kind of neat to hear of all the old ways and things. And when I was little, I remember Dad used to always he'd take Gatorade to every hockey game for the hockey team and stuff. And he got like this award one year, like the Gatorade award.
Really?
And stuff. Yeah. And I don't know, there's been so many things through the years that it's hard to kind of put your finger on one of them. But I mean,
Sure, you talk about lots about like packing bottles with him.
Yeah, I remember when I was young, like I was all the bottles were glass back then. And anyways, so you'd stack bottles for Pepsi and Coke, and they'd take them back every week, and then they'd wash the bottles out and refill them or whatever. And so at nights I'd stack bottles with Dad, and then before I was going to school, once a week we'd take beer bottles here too, and we'd stack them, and I'd pile them in. You had a truck with a capper on there, and we'd haul about 200 dozen beer bottles into the city, and then you always picked up your groceries there. Like there was no delivery or nothing back then. So I said they'd put an order in, and you'd go and pull up to the wholesale place there, and then we'd load it on your truck after you unloaded all the beer bottles, and he'd take you out for lunch and maybe buy you a wrestler or something.
Get probably a lot of your social like life from this dynamic too, hey?
Totally.
Yeah.
We don't go out.
I was gonna say, do you guys ever get to go out? Like, is it pretty bad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't really go out.
No.
We're just at the point in our lives where it's like our kids are involved in so many, sports and this and that. So at the end of the night, we're just driving. Like that's just what
Drive
we
kids
do.
around.
We're just driving.
One's on
We're
pickup,
chauffeurs.
one's on drop off, one's on pickup all the time, and it's like going back and forth.
That's our life. Yeah.
I think the neighbors probably think you're crazy because you're up and down the block.
I know,
15
like we
times
leave
a
that
night, it seems
driveway
like.
a million times.
I don't know. We usually hardly ever go out.
Well, it's kind of funny because back when I used to have only 5 customers a day or whatever, and I do massage and nails. At the end of the day, I'd be like, okay, let's go do this and this and this and this, and he's like, no, I don't want to see anybody. And I didn't get it, but now I get it.
What would you tell me if you wanted me to know one thing about how the government kind of gets in your way?
Well, I just don't think people realize how much involvement they have in pretty well every industry, like from eggs to beef to lumber to.
It's not that they get in the way, it's
they drive costs up on everything.
they drive the costs way up, and
Makes it hard for
and
you.
then the customers think that you're putting the prices up, and it's not like that.
Like
Right.
where there's egg levies and 57 cents every dozen eggs goes to the government off the hop. Like the producer or us don't make 57 cents probably, and they're doing all the work, eh? And then same with you got milk quotas and you got butter storage fees, and I said they have all these things that they'll charge, and then people wonder why the prices get so high. Eh?
Butter storage fees. No kidding, hey?
Yeah, and they'll charge them by how much butter they have stored in a thing, and it's just wild. That's where they get money, is through tax dollars. And I said, and it's so even though they'll say this is free or nothing's ever free, you'll pay for it one way or
Yeah, you're paying for it. Yeah.
Taxes on our power bill alone,
Right.
is a utility bill on itself.
So, yeah, and they'll take a raise every time they want it.
Yeah.
And it's it's got to go up, and your egg guy will come and be like, well, this is going up 12 cents a dozen because they want a raise. You can't do anything about it. You're pretty well strong-armed into, well, that's got to go up.
We're victims of language. The very word inflation leads us to think of it as just high prices. And then, of course, we resent the person who puts on the price tags, forgetting that he or she is also a victim of inflation. Inflation is not just high prices. It's a reduction in the value of our money. When the money supply is increased, but the goods and services available for buying are not, we have too much money chasing too few goods.
I heard you say you have kids.
14 and 12.
14 and 12.
She doesn't.
Corbin has been working at the till since he's been 5.
My son will work
Yeah.
all summer in here. Oh yeah,
Actually,
good
he
on the
saved my
till.
bacon a few times. Him
Mom and me
Ila-
both got COVID at the same time.
It was Mother's Day, and of course we were gonna get slammed with ice cream. So yeah, Corbin ran the till. I was slinging ice cream, and that was his first major shift. He was 10.
But he can run the till, he can make ice cream, pump gas, he can
But
figure out discounts in his head.
He saved me.
He's been running the till probably since he was 9. There's one there when he was real young, and then he'd stand between it. And I'm going to say he's been packing groceries since he was probably 5 or 4. He would stand on this stool right here, actually, between kind of Dad and me. And he'd pack groceries and bags and stuff. And
How cute.
Really,
Aw.
But she's more-
doesn't want. This isn't her thing. Honestly, she could run. She will own a business
One day.
of some sort. She's very organized, very, she could run our household with her eyes closed, I'm sure. More like the help me do bookwork type person.
And you said you were doing massage therapy prior. That was your primary work that you were doing. And was that in Nipawin here?
Yeah, it was really hard for me to give that up. Like I loved my job. I loved my clients. I also did nail, like aesthetics and all that. But I really loved it. Loved the hours, loved my clients, the whole bit. And so it was hard for me to give that up at first. And also I find like when I was working, doing that, like I really got to know my clients, like because you'd spend an hour and a half with them or an hour or whatever, you really got to know them. Whereas that was one of the hard transitions for me here is like you see them in passing, like it's lots of times superficial conversation, and so that's what I found hard at first or whatever, but
The depth is no longer...
yeah.
I was first running the till when I was 8, and then throughout high school and that I worked here all the time, and then I left for a couple of years and took business course, and then come back, and then been here ever since. I worked at UPS when I was in the city there for a bit, and then after I moved home, then back to here, and that was
Wow, that's cool.
That's been it. So.
In terms of being business owners, operators, what is the hardest decision you've ever had to make as business people?
The hardest decision?
Yeah.
To work with your significant other every day.
So how long have you been working for Abraham's?
Since I was 17 and I'm now 23.
And I understand you went away and you came back?
Yeah, I moved away for a little bit and it just wasn't my thing, and I learned that I was going to be an auntie, so I called Renee, asked if I could have my job back, and she said yes, absolutely, no problem.
And it must be a good job to work at if you're willing to come back to it.
Very much so. Like, they treat all of us like family, and it's just a very friendly environment here.
That is so awesome. How many years have you been coming to Abraham's?
Don't give you my age.
Well, let's just say, okay, so a very long time since you were young.
Yeah.
Okay.
40
and
years.
40 years or so? Okay. How long have you been coming to Abraham's for?
Pretty much my whole life. I've lived in the neighborhood for, 36 years. So.
Wonderful.
Okay.
How long have you been coming to Abraham's for?
I've been probably coming since 1976.
76? That's as long as I'm old.
Yes.
Amazing.
'Cause I think they're 50 years.
They are 50 years.
And I just turned 50 today.
Oh!
Or I turned 50 in August.
Well, happy birthday in August.
Well, thank you.
How long have you been coming to Abraham's?
Oh, quite a few years.
Yeah, like many decades or
Yeah.
many years?
Oh, decades.
Decades
yeah.
even? Okay.
Oh, for years.
Yeah? And you've been coming to Abraham's for how long? Like as a customer?
Oh, since I was like wee little itty bitty.
Yeah?
Like, Ila remembers me coming in with my tight little ringlets and my big brown eyes.
Oh, that's so cute. Ila didn't come out yet. That's disappointing.
Let's see if we can get her out.
See if you can get her out. See if we can get her telling us a story. She gives good stories.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to ask me a couple of questions, I guess you
Could I just
Yeah.
a few questions and get just a few little tidbits
Okay.
from you? Okay.
Once you get her started talking, she won't stop.
Well,
So
I
start
wonder.
rolling.
You were talking the other day about how you would just get up in the morning and come to the store, and it was just like you were like really close by, like you lived close by.
No, that's not it. We had, the old store was right next door here. And it was a long building. And in the back of the building was living quarters.
Oh.
And there was a kitchen and a bathroom and 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, and you just had to open the door just like you're opening a store. I mean a house door, and open the door. We had a nice big window in there and a curtain on it, and we were in the store right there.
Perfect.
We lived there. We lived in the store at the back.
Nice.
I used to bake bread and buns and stuff like that all the time. And so I'd go back there and bake something. And then if my husband needed me, I would come out to the store and help.
What was something that you brought in from far away that was like cool to be bringing into this little town?
We had the first ever slush machine in town.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we did.
Back in about 1983, it was a
What
Cornelius
year was
one.
that?
83, first year you opened this
Yeah.
building here.
Yeah. Because we'd never had slush before.
Yeah.
They had
When
it
we
in
opened,
town.
yeah. When we opened the new store.
So the brand new store had a brand new slush machine.
Yeah.
Nice. You must have been quite young then, 83.
Yeah, I would have been about 7.
7, and you remember that still. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Must have been a pretty big deal.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So who got to have the first slush?
God, I can't remember. I'm guessing probably Dad.
Yeah.
Some of the memorable moments for me are like teasing Floyd. We'd always have like 2 chairs over there, and we'd like stick Kleenexes on something long
Broom
and
handles.
pretend like flies are after him. I don't know. We'd always like
Touch
pull
his hair and
yeah,
stuff.
pull pranks on his parents or
Yeah.
tease his mom. I remember you saying it was a big deal for them to like give up their good jobs
Yeah, it was
to
kind of
take a risk on.
like.
Oh, really? Hey,
Yeah.
yeah? What kind of jobs did you guys do?
Well, my husband worked at a seed plant. Anyhow, he worked for quite a few years there, and then he also worked as a carpenter. And he worked for, it was called B&S Construction Company, and they built houses and whatever.
Another memory, I don't know. Floyd would always side with me with everything, and Ila would always side with it. So we'd always have like a little rivalry.
Yeah. We're pitted between each other. And,
Yeah.
oh, I always enjoy it. I'm a big teaser, so I said when they come in the morning, I make sure I tease everybody equally. And you've got to distribute it, and then we're good to go, eh? So.
To quit your jobs and just buy a small place.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
And it was Miller's Grocery, but the people that we bought it from, their names were Chester and Flo Borley.
Okay.
And Mr. Borley passed away with a heart attack suddenly.
Oh.
And so then Flo wanted to sell the store, and at that time I was working at the Scotia Bank, and they had their account there. So I got to talk to her, and she said she was going to be selling her store. So Floyd and I decided that maybe that would be kind of nice to own a little business, small business.
So Abraham's, I would say, is considered a bona fide mom and pop store. You guys would be the second generation of that, having inherited it from the mom and pop.
Yeah, still very much first generation still. Yeah, Ila comes here every day, here morning till night. She's crazy, very dedicated.
Renee and Jason told me that you're here all day, help in the back working, and that you're available for the staff whenever they need you. Is that true?
I'm not here because I have to be here.
Yeah.
I'm just here because
It's what you enjoy doing.
like it.
She likes coming all the time, and she gets to see people. It's kind of like her social life too here. So she always comes and gets to visit, and that's what she likes the most, I think. And then she has, like, as the staff, like we go through staff or whatever as the years progress, and that she gets to work with so many of the different girls, so they all kind of make a bond with mom too. They kind of consider her like a bit of a mom, I think, at the end.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot, actually.
Renee and Jason said this is where they get the most of their social life. How about you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. And the thing is, a lot of times people will stop in here that maybe have moved away 20 or 30 years ago, and they'll say, "Is Ila still around? Oh, I'll just get her."
Can you remember like the first time you ever heard of Abraham's, or the first time you ever
From
came
my
here?
husband, because he was born here.
He was born here.
Yes. Yeah, that's why we came for ice cream and stuff like that.
Midsummer, and all of a sudden you don't get like
And
your ice cream mix, and you
Then
let the whole town down.
Is there anything you'd like to share about Abraham's?
Just coming here every summer for ice cream is just the best.
What's your favorite thing to come to Abraham's for?
Their ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite thing is serving ice cream.
Yeah?
Yeah, like if I could do one thing in this store, it would be the ice cream. Like that's my favorite. Serving it, making it, I like it.
Anything that you would like to say about Abraham's?
No, I think they do a marvelous job here. And they've added to the store, which is nice too.
Is there other places where you guys are drawing on community and
we have
the resources?
Star City eggs too. Like I get the Ben the egg guy or whatever. We've always handled them.
We get lots from the Outback Butcher.
Yeah, we get
honey too.
from like
honey.
Eve Skrez, like
Nice.
local producer. Yeah.
You don't mind if I put you in my video about Abraham's, do you, Farron?
I don't. Sorry.
Thank you. Anything about Abraham's that you'd like to share?
Well, it's been a staple in our community for a very long time. I remember when Floyd was here, and he was always welcoming, handing out candy to kids and things like that. And
When I was little too, I remember we used to have even in this store, we had like a display there, and you'd sell candy out of it, and the people would just tell you what they wanted out of there, and you'd pick it out like one by one and make candy.
There was the cutest display. It was all glass and little compartments in there.
Oh, neat.
And from the back, it was open, so we used to dig our little candies out of there and put them in small little paper bags, and serve.
Was it penny candy back then?
You could get
1 and 5 cents.
Yeah,
there was
1
a
and
little
5
1
cents.
cent Jawbreakers. There was
Yeah.
1 cent Swedish berries.
Yeah.
I think that was all for 1 cent ones, and then the others, most of the blue whales and everything else was all 5s.
Yeah.
Nothing was 25 cents though, right?
No.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
I've known Jason from Wagner days, so it's been a long time. And yeah, they've been just, like I said, a staple in the community, and we're very blessed to have them.
I couldn't agree more. Thanks,
Yeah,
Jamie.
okay, no problem.
Have a good day. What was your favorite thing to come for?
Just them, who they are.
Yeah, and still?
Jason sitting on the counter.
Nice. That's awesome. Perfect. Anything that that you'd like to add?
They're just amazing people.
They really are, aren't they? Yeah. What would you say is an advantage then to being like a husband-wife team?
I
We
don't know,
worked
they've
fairly well together.
We could see each other all day.
Took us a while to work well together. We used to try to do home renovations together, and it didn't work out really good.
We don't renovate at home anymore.
But anyways, at the store
We work well here.
We
not so
work
much at that.
fairly well together because I think we both know kind of which roles we fill and which one's good in the other area, and so maybe some of my weaknesses are her strengths, and maybe some of her weaknesses, which she doesn't admit she has any, are my strengths, and that's kind of
How could she's perfect? How
Yeah,
could you
I know.
even
Yeah,
suggest?
Hello, how's it going? Good, how are you? Good. Hello.
How are you today?
What's one of the biggest things, one of the biggest deals you remember happening with the store through your history of it?
It was all a big deal.
Yeah, right?
Just own your own business then,
No
Yeah.
kidding. Yeah. Well, I guess so, because there probably wasn't very many around.
No, there wasn't. And it was so neat to be in there and be your own boss sort of thing.
Can you remember the first time you heard about Abraham's or you came to Abraham's?
Actually, it was probably to come down here for my dad to grab some supplies for him, and that would have been when I was about 5-6 years old.
Perfect. What kind of supplies would he have got you to pick up?
Cigarettes for him.
Oh, no kidding, eh?
And that
Back in
was-
the day.
Yeah, way back in the day. Yeah.
I want to commend you guys because I think you're doing such a fabulous job here.